creating a demo package to test all our adapter services, and let's start with the SOAP service here. Test demo adapter services. Save. So now the new package that we have configured just now is created. Now let's go to artifact. We have saved it already. Here you can add. So this is now in edit mode. Let's add a new integration flow that we will be using for our SOAP demo. Okay, I will not provide more details in description and sender receiver. It's not required for this demo. We have seen how to provide all those details earlier. Now, uh, let's edit this. Here you see sender. What we will do is here we will create a additional. So we have a few WSDL that can do addition for us, and we will just reuse them. How to do it is, let's edit this flow first. Connect sender to start using SOAP. We will use 1.x. That is the standard practice. Usually we use SOAP 1.x. Connect end to receiver. SOAP. Now we will have to configure this SOAP connection. So whatever request we will be getting, it will be through this sender receiver. So once we deploy this service, we will be able to call it using SOAP. In connection details, we'll provide an address. So say we will have test at service. Okay, and this will be our URI while sending. Our user role, which will call this service, is ESB message.send. So this will be the user, and how to configure it and authorize it, we'll check it later on. Okay, so for now, just this. Now, service definition, we are using a WSDL here. So here, I have to select a WSDL. For test purpose, we have downloaded a WSDL from addition. So addition WSDL, we can get it from a site. Let's find out that first. Yeah, here you go. dneonline.com/calculator.asm. So you can download this WSDL and keep it in your system. Once it is downloaded, let's go back to our integration flow and we can load that WSDL. So search for the WSDL. We don't have in this package, so under downloads, we have kept it. So once the WSDL is loaded, you will see all the operations here. So all the operations add, divide, multiply. Let's try with add. Once it is selected, you see here the SOAP service endpoint and everything comes up. Now once this is done, we just have to save our project, but we also have to configure the response part. So once you receive the request through our web service through SOAP, on add service, we will have to also provide a response, and to configure that, click on this connection details, use the address that we want. Basically, it will be our address that we have used to call the SOAP service at the DNE online service. So what is that? Let me, you can fetch it from that WSDL. So I have loaded that WSDL here. So by default, whatever URL you will get, you can put it in the response. So basically, this will be our and this is the address where it will call and get the response. We can select again that same WSDL operation. Once selected, you need not to configure anything here. Authentication, we can say basic authentication. Sorry, none. So we need not to authenticate at the receiver end. So while calling to the actual DNA online, which will give us the response for calculation. We need not to provide any authentication. Okay, and now save this project. Save and deploy. So this is our basic flow, which will get a request, and while sending the response back, it will send through a receiver. Let's deploy this. Okay. So SOAP demo, if we go back to, so here I have, so here you can click on monitor artifacts on integrations. Once you click on integrations, you will see all monitoring related details. Under deployed services, so started, this is for a previous one. Let's click on all the services that we have. Here you see SOAP demo. So this was my previous one, and the new one is SOAP demo that we have just now created. You see here it is already started successfully. And if you check the status of the service artifacts here, let's refresh it. Yeah. So after refresh, you will see the endpoint is provided, and you have to copy this endpoint as is. So to trigger it from Postman, we will have to copy this URL and provide it in the WSDL. So I have loaded that WSDL here. I will create a copy of it. So add request. Let's copy. Let's duplicate a request response, and here I will provide the complete URL. This is my post URL for calling the add service. In the body, you will see the complete request is already formed, 100, all these details. But if I test this, I will get an authentication error. The reason being, I have not provided any authorization. So while calling this service, which is already deployed, you should get a 401 unauthorized error. And for that, we have few additional steps to be taken to provide an authentication here. What to do, like how to configure that basically is, first of all, you have to create a bearer token. So bearer token is something is provided when you want to get a service authenticated. And for that, you have to provide the service key. So here for additional reading, you can go through the SAP BTP, how the user agreement works. So you have to call a service to get the bearer token, and then that token can be provided in the request of the SOAP UI call, and that will authorize your service. So all these details are already present on the help documentation from SAP BTP portal. How to actually perform the steps that are required is go to trial home. So, on the home page of BTP cockpit that we have, and there you have to create a service key. So to generate the service key, you have to use process integration runtime. I will show you. So go to service marketplace, search process integration runtime. Click on process integration runtime and load it. Here I have already added it, so it is not giving me an option to add it. So here, if you see my instances and subscription, it is already added. So what you have to do is you have to add it in your instances. Once you add it, you will see this instance is already will be created. So say if I create a new instance, if I delete this completely, okay. So I have already created a service key inside it. So I don't have any services now. Like, let's go to market place and add it from scratch. Process integration runtime. Click on it, say create, and uncreate. Once you subscribe it, you will get the process integration runtime as a name, a service. Plan, we will use integration flow. Cloud Foundry, space is dev. Instance name, you can provide some name. Test instance. Here, click on next. Here you see the rule is ESB message dot send client credentials, what type of client credentials as well as password you can select here, and you can set just say next and say create. So it will create a process integration runtime service instance. So here once you click on view, you will see this service instance. Now click on these three dots and click on create service key. So we want to create a service key, and once you create the service key, you need not to provide any more details here, the validity and all that details. Just provide a name, test key. Okay. Once I create it, this will be my service key that I will use to connect to our SOAP call. So basically the syntax will be you can use a curl command and generate the key. So basically it will just let's see how to create it. So first, once it is created, you can click on this dot and click on view. I will not show record this while viewing it because this is some sensitive and you should not share your keys with anyone. So once you generate it, view, click on view and get those keys. Once you get that keys, you have to create a call in the SOAP, and let's go to skip to that part directly. So once you have that key and a secret key and other details with you, click on import, put that raw text as a curl command, curl hyphen username details, all those details and the URL, and click on continue. Once you click on continue, you will get these details imported directly in the curl command. So you see here in authorization, it will take your username as the key and authentication key here in the password. Body, you have to provide this grant type and the client credentials, and click on send. Once you click on send, the response you will receive will be a access token under bearer token value, and hit send. You see here the response is 200, and now you are not getting that error earlier that we were seeing 401. Now it is 200. Okay, let's change some parameters in the body request. So say 1001 and 1001 will be added as 2002. That result is 2002. So this means our service is deployed fine and it is sending the response back through our deployed service. Here, for more details, what we can do is we can set the log level as trace and verify what all service instances it is calling, right? So here it is showing status and everything is deployed, but to have a detailed monitoring and logs, we have to change the configuration to trace for actually checking what values are going in and coming out of it. To use those monitoring related um, options, you have to now send the call again. So now we have changed the tracing level as trace, log level as trace. Now we have to send the request back. So now you can monitor the message. Click on monitor message, and here you will see the log for that request that was received. Yeah. You see here, SOAP demo, these are the requests called, and the detailed one here, the first one with the tracing level. The log level was info, and here it was log level as trace. And when you click on trace, you can actually trace the message from request to the from sender to receiver as well. Okay. Yeah. So here you see, you can click on any of these segments from SOAP sender to the receiver, all four segments. You can track the message and what was the details. So log content here, the status was complete, description and everything, and the message body as well. So here you see the request was received with the content, and you can also check the payload where we have sent 2002 value in the request. And here is the final payload where the the request was received here and the response was sent back. So all these details are present. Okay. So yeah, for checking everything on monitoring part, monitoring message process, you can directly go here and check all the logs. So all integration log related messages, completed messages, you can see here.